Hello folks and welcome. So PCLinuxOS 2023, latest version as of yesterday. I believe today's date is the 7th and it got released on the 6th. So 4.18 Xfce with a new kernel for 6.4. I'm going to be talking about backups today. And I'm going to be using Grsync, rsync, and I'm also going to, as a bonus, explain how to put a simple update notifier up in your panel because it does not come installed with it. So if you have already installed PC Linux, I'm going to talk about backing up your personal files mostly. But I'll touch a little bit about time shift because it also uses rsync. So I will say welcome folks. I'm filming in 1920 by 1080. You could adjust your YouTube player accordingly if need be. So basically, I am going to explain also how to write script files. Before you run away, I'm going to make it really simple. You may want to just to look at this. But in case you don't want to use script files, I'm going to also explain using Grsync. That would be graphical rsync. Very point and clicky, let's put it that way. But in either case, I'll walk you through the whole process of backing up your personal files. And I'm going to be using two different devices today. An internal backup drive and an external. So I'm not sure if you have a laptop or a tower computer or console, but I will kind of cover both bases because I think anybody can use a USB based backup drive or maybe even a large USB stick or thumb drive. All right, one more time folks, welcome. Alt and F4. So I have a couple of files on my desktop. All right, I'm not going to talk about the ones on the top, but I'm going to talk about these guys right here. These are links to a script file. So I'm going to cover that first, and then I'll show you Grsync. Because I think anyone can do this. So let me open up the file manager, full screen. So I have my internal backup drive with two folders. And I'm going to leave these. I'm going to create another folder. I'll have the script file create a folder and then put copies of documents, music, and pictures is going to be my demo. And then I have a USB backup drive. I want to say it's a solid state drive inside of an enclosure connected to a USB cable. That'll be my slow backup versus that one is an internal drive and it's fairly fast. Okay, so I have documents. Oops, a little too big, right? Documents. I have music, and I have pictures. So I have valid documents to back up. All right, so a new feature with 4.18.6, Thunar, your file manager. Gotta love that logo. Anyways, colored text and also highlighted backgrounds. No, these are not selected. That's a selected. So you can see red text in here, you can see yellow text in here, and that's a new feature. The highlighter. Okay. Script files. Let's first talk about these three guys. So I have three versions. This one here is simple. It only does two jobs. So this is created using a text editor, not a word processor. I'll make this larger for you. Hopefully that's big enough for you. Slightly make this just a little bit bigger. There we go. Now, so this is written in a text editor, standard text editor. Mousepad comes with your system. All you need is one bin bash statement and then a whole bunch of rsync lines or just one. That's all up to you. Pound exclamation point / no spaces in here, by the way. Bin, no space, / bash. Born again shell is what that stands for. Rsync. So what is rsync? Rsync is remote sync. You can look this up on the internet. File time. Archive. Time shift. When you install PC Linux, make sure that you activate time shift. I highly encourage that. So you can do system restores later on. The only reason I'm opening this, because I just installed this yesterday, is the wizard will point to this rsync. That's what I'm using here. And that's what this is using also. Okay. So as long as you have a green shield, you can close that. You can force it to create a backup also. And then in about a week, after running this for 6 or 7 days, you're going to have 5 of these in here. And then one day something doesn't work, you put your installation media in your computer and boot into PC Linux. You will find the TimeShift utility on that. And you'll open it. It won't ask for a password. And it'll scan your hard drive. And then you click one of those restore points and click that. And in about roughly 10 minutes, you'll be back to where you were. It's better than reinstalling, trust me. And I have used this before. TimeShift is available for other Linux distros also. Alright, so with that said, this is using rsync. rsync space A. What is the -A? The -A is archive. Archive is very powerful also. Space. And this funny looking symbol is called a tilde. It substitutes me typing in my home folder, which would be home PCman1. So instead of doing that, I just put in tilde/documents. Now this is my source that I'm going to copy using rsync. It needs to be spelled the same way. Then I put 1 space in here. You can put, I think, 2 if you like, but put at least 1 space in here. And then the name of the device, I'm going to click this on purpose to let you see it's up here in your address bar. You can highlight that and literally copy this if you're creating this text file. And then you can open up that text file that you're creating and literally paste it in here. So if I were to be typing another line in here, I would type in rsync space -alpha tilde. Tilde can be found on a standard keyboard to the left of the 1. / can be found near your enter key. So I will type in music in this case. 1 space. And, oops, too many. Okay, let me go back in here and get rid of that line. Go up here, highlight that, right click, and copy that. Now I'll go back in here and paste it. Okay, so you can paste these things is what I'm getting at. Don't forget about the space in here. At least 1 space. So if you butt that up against there, hit the space bar. Once or twice. Alright. So, I usually just like 1 space. That's just me. Now, you notice that this one has a name on it. So I could put a folder name in here too. So I could use the same in here. I'm just cheating. Didn't want to type it in here. And then when I hit this, it's going to ask me to save it. Or don't save. Okay? So I'm going to do a don't save. So, now that thing has 2 files in it. So what I'm going to do is double click on that line. It's just my tip for resizing a window. Okay, you have to do this. I'm using this mouse pointer so I can point this out. You see where that pointer is pointing to that line? That's the top of your window. You need to be a little bit below that if you want to use this feature. Okay, and it doesn't matter where I click. Right in here. But it has to be within the spacing in here. Alright, so that particular script file, this one, after I write it, you save it. You can save it with whatever name you want to call it. The 3 statements, in other words. Okay. I save that because it's a text file. Do not use a word processor. Make sure that you right click on the file after you save it and check the permissions to make sure that this will normally be unchecked. Allow this to be run as a program. So make sure that's like that. And then you right click and send it to your desktop as a link. So it'll be in here somewhere or here. Okay. So doc backup is my first demo. So that would be this one. So let's go over to here and let you see the action. So I just created that folder right there and the subfolder. So it'll first work on my documents, then it'll switch over to the next folder. Okay, so what I'm going to also do is, while it's doing its thing, I'm going to do a Control N as in Nancy to make another window. Because I'm also going to use the back USB backup 1 for the next example. All right, so I think it only did it 3, was it 3 or 2 folders? Okay, all this stuff is running in the background and it'll complete all on its own. Okay, so I'm going to walk over to here and check my script file real quick. Yeah, it's only doing 2 folders, so it's finished. And I can actually switch and look at that also here. Yeah, it's 2 folders. So let me make this USB back 1. So the next file over is, this one is going to do 3 folders. Going to using a folder name called PCLinuxOS, sending it to the same device, but it's going to do let me make this larger for you. So it's going to be doing documents, pictures, and music. So one more time, rsync space -a is the archive. Tilde again is just my home folder, documents, so that's my source. Going over to media backup with a folder name PCLinuxOS. That's my destination on all 3, pictures and music. Okay, so that would be backup device. And that would be this one right here. So same deal. And you know how I did this? I actually went copy, paste, and edit the file name, and I edit the file. That's how I did it. I started with only 1 script file and kept duplicating and adding and changing the names. And then I send them as a shortcut. All right, with that said, I'm going to run this one. So now I created a different folder called PCLinuxOS. And this one is going to do 3 folders. So I'm still working on it. And then I'm going to run this one here, the last one. I'll open that while it's still busy creating folders here. This one here is a little bit more complex, but you can see the versatility of using script files. You can put as many line statements as you want, and it's going to perform them in order. So in this one, it's going to create documents, pictures, and music over to the backup drive with a PCLinuxOS folder. Then it's going to create documents, music, and pictures on the USB backup device. Okay, so this is this device here with that folder. It's finished, and this is empty. Now, if I leave the other ones alone, and this script says to duplicate those with the same names, it won't have anything to do. And it will go directly over to here after it verifies that these are done. So let me show you that. So this folder here, or sorry, this script file here is going to copy documents, pictures, and music over to the PCLinuxOS folder on my backup device, and it's already here. That means it's going to just verify that the files match and then skip over that and then just go directly to the USB backup device. So let me do this. I'm trying to drag a hold of that and close it. So I'm going to run this one. This is the last script file. So right now it's already starting to create. It's not creating anything on the backup drive because it's finished. But it went and verified that nonetheless. Now this guy's a little bit slower than this one is. So it may take a little bit of time to do this. So while it's making its backups, let me talk about Grsync. So the next thing I'm going to demo is the Grsync, and it's using rsync also, remote sync. And it's going to do 1 folder at a time. 1 folder at a time. But it's also very versatile. You can do the 1 folder at a time going to the same devices, whether it be internal hard drives or USB backup devices. Okay, I think this script is finished. It's 3 folders is all I had to do. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's finished. All right, so let's talk about Grsync for a second, and I'll close this down. I'll throw that screen up. So it's under archiving. This is already installed on your system. You don't have to install it. But I am going to clear out the fields from my last test and basically reopen that like it's from scratch. So this is what it looks like right out of the box. So Grsync you can also look up on the internet about different options and advanced options. But if you keep the defaults, you're probably good to go. So Grsync is graphical rsync, remote sync. It uses the same method as I did on my script files, except this is point and click. You don't have to type anything unless you want to. All right, so basically if you keep the basic options, leave them alone, the advanced options and the extra options, you can probably get through this pretty easily. All right, so let me move this box out of the way and throw this next to it. And let's just use this as a guinea pig. So I will delete all three by dragging across and hitting delete on my keyboard. So it clears out the drive. And we're going to do source and destination. Again, it's one thing at a time. I'll pick documents and hit open. Puts the whole path instead of the tilde this time. And then where am I going to send it to? I'm going to send it to USB back, but I don't need to copy anything. I just hit open and USB back and open. And it puts that in there. And then I hit play. In other words, run. Now you can see a progression thing and you can see it copying. Again, one folder at a time. It's no slower and it's no faster than my script files because it runs on the same process. It's still rsync. And when it gets done, it'll give you a post-it note. There we go. Now, I'm going to close that. Now, if I rerun this, it'll say complete. It'll just check it. It's done. So what I'm going to do is throw you for a wrench. I'm going to go back up here and go to documents. And I am going to add an extra file. I'll resize this on the fly to let you see what's in there. I'm going to create, we can do a folder or we can do a file. I'll just do an empty file. I'll call that one 3A's, whatever it is. And then I'll throw the word test in there. And then close and save. All right, so AAA does not exist on your backup, but it does exist on my new documents folder. All right, so AAA is not in here, in other words, but I'm going to sync this up. It's in there now. It's right here. It was probably too quick. You were probably watching that when I hit the play button, and it duplicated it so fast that you didn't even see it. But why was it so quick this next time around? Because it doesn't have to redo these all over again. It just verifies that they didn't change. All right, so it has the word, let me get rid of that and open this up. So it has the word test in it. Now I'm going to alter that file. So I'm going to open up AAA and I'm going to add some more lines to it. Test 1, 2. And save. All right, the nice thing about rsync, it knows when things are changed when you rerun rsync or Grsync, it doesn't matter which one. So since I altered this file, it's been changed. And Grsync will find that once you hit the play button. It'll verify that nothing has changed and it'll find that this one did. So I will go back to that and open this up for you and first let you verify this. This is only test, and I'm going to hit the play button. So it's finished. Nothing really happened in here, right? This file's been altered. Now I have test 1, 2. Just keep that in mind. That's why the syncing is pretty powerful. All right, so what if I wanted to send the same document folder over to this device? Well, I could just do open here and go to other and backup and open. So under that, it will put my documents folder in here. So I will first demo that. Okay, so I have demo files, PC1, PC2, and scripts. And now I have documents. But since I don't really want to have that folder sitting here for whatever reason, I'm going to wait until it finishes. I'm going to have it actually do it in a manual folder, just like I did here with this PC Linux 1 and 2, and I'll give it a different name so you can see it. So what I'm going to do in this case is delete that. And I'm going to manually edit the back end of this thing by putting a /. That's normally found near your enter key. And give it a name. I'll call this one test1. So it's going to create a folder called test1 and then copy documents inside that folder. Okay. So right now it's in process. So test1 is right here. And there's the subfolder documents. And then with the goodies in it. Okay. It's still in process. It's finishing up though. And then once again, after it's finished and I rerun this thing, I won't have anything to do. It's finished. But anytime you do this, it's verifying. It's verifying that you have a match. You have an exact match of documents in test1 on your backup device, or your USB stick, or USB backup drive. So you can have internal hard drives if you have a tower computer, or if you have a laptop, an external USB stick, thumb drive, or USB hard drive. Grsync comes in handy for this, as again, you noticed the only time I typed is because I manually added that folder. But in general, you just open, and play. You can also save these. It creates a session. It's very simple. It's just 2 items. Or you can just do this manually. So that's rsync and Grsync. All right, so here's a prime example of an updater available. So let me go through that process. All right, 5 updates are available. So update CLI. Put in my password. And it's downloading. And hopefully that won't take forever. But this was a good example of updating. So you can actually see this in process. Because generally you do not have this installed. So I'm waiting patiently, be patient, and allowing it to install. And hopefully this is not a ton of updates. Again, they just released this yesterday on the 6th. So I will wait until it's finished. But in the meantime, while it's installing the updates, I'm going to open Synaptic after this. And basically, there it is now. And systems updates have been applied. So Q to quit. Icon goes away and it'll reappear here in a second. So the next process, I'm going to show you how to install this thing. Because again, it doesn't come installed during your installation process. But it will appear here in a minute. So trust me. There it is. Now it's green. All right, let's open up this little magnifying glass on your made-up dock downstairs. I think it's just another panel, but it looks like a dock. And type in SY, Synaptic Package Manager. So what we're looking for, double-click after you put in your password, what we're looking for is the name of this thing called Simple Update Notifier. Okay, so simple. Probably good enough. You may have to go scroll for it, but go down to the S's. And what you're looking for is Simple Update Notifier. This will not be installed. You just right click on it, mark it for installation. And if it needs other goodies, I forgot if it did or not, you just mark it and then hit apply. After it installs, you close this box and you reboot your computer and this icon will appear. You need to reboot your computer afterwards. And this will auto start, and more importantly, it will be maintaining and looking for updates. You remember that I started the video with the green. And right in the middle of my demo here, it went red because there was updates available. So that was a prime example of showing you that. All right. Again, I think I'm done. So using script files is pretty easy to do. Using Grsync is even easier, but it does one thing at a time. And one more thing, I don't recommend rsyncing or copying your home folder all at once because of these hidden files and folders in here. So like the .cache folder, for instance, has lots of stuff. But in general, Control-H, in general, you just probably want to copy your documents, your music, pictures, and your personal folders, not your home directory. Because in a lot of cases, they will not fit on your backup devices, on USB sticks and stuff. Because your home folders can be enormous. Okay, so just copy your personal stuff. So one more recap, don't forget, Grsync is easy to use. I activate time shift. You never know when you need to do a system restore. Using script files, you can always refer back to my video. All my videos have timelines and chapters. And again, you can watch it at your leisure. Thank you for watching.